All right, for more on this, let's now speak to political analyst Dr. Imraan Buccus, weighing in, of course, on the IFP's 50th birthday or jubilee, of course, celebrations. Dr. Buccus, thank you so much for your time. Welcome to SABC SA Today. So the party, the IFP in this matter, is celebrating its golden jubilee. Let's start by reflecting on some of their biggest achievements as well as contributions within the political arena, as well as the liberation of this country. What are some of your standout moments of the party?
Well, thanks for having me. I think let's go back to before the 94 elections. I'd say in South Africa we had multiple nationalisms, some of them really insular. So Afrikaner nationalism, English nationalism, really insular. And of course we had African nationalism, which was embracing. But I think the third component of that insular nationalism was Zulu nationalism. And we saw that in the build-up to the 1994 elections. And as a result of that insularity, as a result of the politics of KZN, we saw the bloodbath, in the early years, in the build-up to 94. And what has been documented clearly is the fact that the number of lives we lost in that period, post-1990 to, 94 or so, is larger than the number of lives we lost throughout the struggle. So I think that's really significant. And if we think back prior to the elections, the IFP opposing sanctions, that was another pivotal moment. Sanctions, international support was a central pivot in our struggle, together with armed struggle, the underground, with mobilization, etc. But then the IFP entering the elections in 94 at almost the last minute, I think that was the turning point. The fact that they've returned to power in KZN, that's significant, because up to about 2014, we've seen a clear downward trend in support for the IFP. And in 2019, we've seen the graph go in the other way. And of course now, despite MK's popularity in KZN, despite them getting the largest number of votes, the IFP has returned to power. Mm-hmm. And maybe what I'm missing out in terms of a pivotal moment is, Mangosuthu Buthelezi leaving the party or retiring in 2019. And the party has largely been built around his gravitas.
Absolutely. I was going to say that, Dr. Buccus, that they actually managed to try and navigate that very treacherous period, which could have brought the party essentially apart. But let's also look at another pivotal moment that I think you failed to mention there, Doctor. Let's look at how the party managed to pull a rabbit under a hat, so to speak, and became a central part of the government of national unity, subsequently leading to the party enjoying government benefits that individually they might not have, judging from its growth, performance, as well as overall support within the country. And we also know, Dr. Velenkosini Hlabisa there, not doctor, I apologize, just saying there during that interview that was recently held, that we have just been crossing to, saying that it has been, that they have been lacking when it comes to, the resolving of leadership issues, but they've somehow tried to keep them away from the public eye.
Yeah, leadership issues, fractures within the party go back a long way. Mm-hmm. I think if we remember, there have been a number of reports, the Woods report, other reports that looked at the fractures in the IFP. Mm-hmm. But certainly, I think they've contributed to what I call the second miracle of the country, 94 being one. But I think a significant other moment for South Africa is the GNU. Many people had predicted, well, if the liberation movement comes below 50%, we'll follow the lead of other countries on the African continent. Will the ANC, accept that loss, if you like? And certainly we've seen the maturity of our democracy. We've seen how sophisticated a party like the ANC is, despite many of its flaws. And of course, the IFP rose to the occasion too. Despite their past, it's a party that symbolizes stability now. It's a party that, as we've seen in KZN, that a significant part of the population looks to. And of course, I think they've done really well in terms of their place within the GNU, although there can be questions asked about, what exactly they've achieved in the GNU.
And that's exactly the question. And my parting question, a very quick one there, Doctor. The party is largely being criticized for being sort of a sideshow within the GNU, accused of simply rubber stamping decisions of the ANC and the DA. I'm wondering, when people go vote now for the local government elections, what has the party achieved at local government level? We have seen the public spots in regions where they actually govern. Do they even have a constructive government strategy going forward, you think?
Well, I think, they've come a long way since 94, the decline till 2014, and then the upward swing. For me, there's nothing really that stands out, bar the fact that they've done well in the elections. And I think the fact that they claim that they're not the kind of Zulu insular party that they were, that kind of insularity around its nationalism is something they don't, bring as part of their identity today. I think the other really significant point is, while they may not have delivered something that we see that stands out, and like you have described them, a party that rubber stamps the decisions of the main party, I think they have a solid future ahead of them. One is, when you take young people in the country, and of course we know that South Africa is a country of young people, the majority being under 35, I think fewer and fewer think about, liberation and what the ANC did. That romance of the liberation is over. And all of these constructions of liberation are over, I think, in the same way that benefits the IFP. What you and I might talk about in terms of its role in the early 90s, in terms of the sort of nationalism it aspired to then, I think younger people in the country care less about that. What they want to see now is an IFP that brings stability, an IFP that rejects corruption, and that becomes a stable pivot in our GNU. And the IFP is showing concrete signs of that, even though they may not have delivered anything really significant.
Great input there, Doctor. Thank you so much for your sound analysis. That is Dr. Imraan Buccus. There is a political analyst on the IFP, celebrating its 50 years of resilience, service and integrity out in Soweto today.